Hey guys, you got Sergeant and MattyIce here. We're just doing a little regroup from the first day of X Games competition from Winter X in Aspen, Colorado. We got four really good matches on the first day, and we're just really looking forward to talking to them. So, leading up to the event, saw a little bit about the setup and stuff, and it was kind of interesting to see how the teams were in this like tent pavilion area behind glass. I don't know if it was too accessible to fans or people that are actually at the X Games.
Right.
What did you make of that?
Yeah, I mean, it looked like it was in a tent,
Yeah.
I guess it was on a mountain. It was in a tent on a mountain. So you kind of, I guess it's a good thing they had all the feeds going and stuff like that. And I thought it ran pretty smoothly for being something that's an outdoor event, that they were running a video game on. I thought the production was good. I thought it ran smooth. Yeah, it seemed quaint and kind of small, I guess. We were talking about it didn't seem like there was too much going on with fans and stuff like that. I saw a couple fans there, but they were like the ones that I saw like sitting right next to Walshy,
Yeah.
so I don't know if they were like other members of teams or what, but there was a couple people there. So yeah, I'm not sure exactly if there was, although we did say like there was a couple really young kids with like flat brim hats and stuff like that rocking it.
I'm hoping,
in there, so.
yeah, I'm hoping that if you're at the X Games, you can go in there and watch competition, especially getting into later rounds, maybe
Yeah.
Bronze
Right.
and gold medal match. Hopefully they open it up more, because I think that would be a huge miss if people that are actually at the event can only go see like skiing, snowboarding, all the stuff that's happening outside, and not actually be able to see this and only be accessible to people on stream. But otherwise, I totally agree. I thought the streams went great. I thought, listening to other streams and watching other competitions with the qualifiers so far, I thought by far the commentary, the color, play-by-play, everything today was the best I've seen so far. I mean, Bravo, Walshy,
Right.
Benson, all those guys, Elon, they all did. This was the best I've seen. It was great.
Yeah, they did pretty good, and they did pretty good with the filling in between the matches and stuff like that. We both kind of, I think we made a comment to each other about how it seemed a little long in between matches. Maybe that's just getting kinks out of the way and starting it up and stuff. I know they also connect the controllers and get everything set up and everything like that. So I understand it as a process and stuff like that. They did a pretty good job of filling with it. Didn't seem awkward silences or anything. It was all good to go. They kept talking the whole time, and
Yeah,
it was good. It
I
was good.
agree.
It was on par with League of Legends. I mean,
Yeah.
when you look at the in between games of League of Legends, this was on par with it. So I was very happy with that.
Yeah, it's great to see. There were definitely times in previous qualifier streams where it was like, what do we do now? What do we do now? Kind of waiting around. But yeah, I mean, they filled up the space great. Walshy and Bravo especially carried it really well with their knowledge of competition,
Yeah, right.
being coaches. I mean, I made a few tweets that the interviews were very informative, very knowledgeable, and weren't too high level for people that were new to the esports scene and Halo.
Exactly.
I just thought they did a really good job of communicating all that very complex jargon out to these people that may be watching for the first time.
Right.
So definitely very impressed.
Yeah, when they use jargon a couple times, and I think most of the time that I noticed it, they went right into an explanation for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, guys, this is what we're talking about.
Yeah.
So that was good. And I also, you mentioned Twitter and stuff. I thought it was super cool being able to just like tweet about it and have a tweet up about, hey, let's go Renegades or something like that. And then people are favoriting my tweet and
Yeah.
everything. I don't know, that's something that I thought was cool because it is a unique environment as far as like considered a sporting event. If I tweet about, I'm a Buffalo Sabres fan. If I tweet about Buffalo Sabres, it's people who are in the area or whatever that favorite anything I say about that, and it's random. Like these are people like just gaming. It's people I saw. It's like Johnny streaming or something like that is
Yeah.
favoriting my tweet. So it was kind of cool. Like it felt like a cool way to interact with people who are fans of teams and were looking to root for people, and it was cool. I thought it was
Yeah,
interactive,
it was the total second screen experience that everyone talks about. Like this
Mm-hmm.
felt like you were there watching it with all these people, but everyone was like thousands of miles apart. They did a very good job like connecting everything, and it's like the gamer community coming together at
Right.
its finest. It was so cool to see. And I had a few times where I had to comment Walshy on that tie. He was all business tonight. And the cool thing is he favorited some of my stuff. Bravo tweeted me back. Shout out to those guys for being on their Twitter game as well. I mean, they had so much going on, but again, it just makes you feel so much closer to the event. So
It was
very,
cool.
very, very happy with how everything went so far with the broadcast. But let's get into the games because
All right.
the games were I think some of them were as expected, but some like Renegades and Team Liquid didn't go as expected. But for your team,
people.
the Renegades is what you're looking for. But let's start with Allegiance and Epsilon, one of the two teams from Europe.
Right.
3-0 for
Brits.
Allegiance. That was pretty crazy.
Yeah, I mean, it was, all the games were, pretty much sweep, or they were all sweeps. But Epsilon stayed with them for a large part of that. And they were in games, and even if even if Allegiance seemed like they had a good hold of it, they were staying in it. They were actually making good plays, and I mean, they got outplayed, but it didn't seem that bad. Like, they were still able to stay. Like, they weren't out. I don't think they were outplayed. I think they were out strategized and out experienced.
Yeah, exactly. So. Yeah, that's totally the point that I was kind of noticing. Is there were times where one-on-one Epsilon was taking Allegiance down. I mean, Jimbo, for one, he had a freaking excellent match. He was carrying. I don't know if I would say carrying Epsilon, but he was definitely having some standout performances in those games. But there were definitely times where it was. They were taking those one-on-one battles. The only downfall was there was an Allegiance guy there to take the Epsilon guy down, and Epsilon didn't have an answer.
Right. Yeah, I don't know if it was I'm not sure there's an answer, but I don't think either of us really know if it was Allegiance not playing well or if it was just Epsilon playing better than, Allegiance thought and what a lot of people thought, because Allegiance coming in the top team and stuff like that. You expect them just to mop up. But, they stayed. I was impressed. By Epsilon. I guess if you're looking at them as being actually a decent team, then you get impressed with Allegiance too, because their first game, they're not expecting to be pushed that much probably. And then they still came through and got, 3-0. So, good effort by both.
Yeah, and having the first round, getting those nerves kind of out of the way, I think coming into a big stage like this, especially for guys that maybe they've only competed online. Maybe they've been to some LAN tournaments, but not on the scale of X Games. I mean, it's a big deal, especially for any esport to be at X Games. So being able to shake off those nerves, maybe it's the first, second game, third game really come into your own. I mean, you can definitely see with Epsilon in the third round of that first match in Strongholds, they had Team Allegiance on the ropes. Mm-hmm. And then they ended up getting flipped.
And that was crazy.
Yeah, that was what they ended up having. Was it 191?
91 or 94 maybe?
Yeah, it was, I mean, it was nuts. Friggin' Allegiance flipped it, 3-capped them, and took it.
Quick.
That was very quick. You can definitely see, and that's what separates the good teams from the great teams, is being able to strategize, flow, rotate, and make those changes. I mean, you and I were texting a little bit with Nated when he got the sniper. You could see him rotating around, and when he noticed that they had lost blue side, they sprinted, ran out of there, got to a better position, and then retook control of the map. And I mean, that's a huge point to being able to control a game.
Yeah, they knew what they were doing. So they played well.
They did. So really looking forward to seeing what happens with Allegiance going forward. That is my team, my prediction to take it. I know they're number one seeded qualifier. So not really taking much of a risk picking
bandwagon.
them. Bandwagon. Yeah, I was jumping on the bandwagon for this one.
All right.
But we'll see what happens next. The next match was CLG and Penta, the other European team from Germany, and this one kind of went as expected, I think.
Yeah, it was Penta looked lost. They really did. I was not, I guess, I wasn't overly impressed with CLG. I'll say that. They cleaned up, but I thought it was more Penta being not good and out of their element and out of their, maybe it was nerves, maybe they're better than they are. They're coming over into this big environment where they've never really been in something like this before. So, I think that plays a big role of it. But CLG played well. I thought that Lethal got almost carried.
Yeah.
I'll say it. He didn't look good. I mean, he had decent stat lines, but he certainly didn't look like someone that's going to create this whole big stir because he gets nabbed up by another team. Right. He didn't look like he was this, the big superstar. They cleaned up. They did what they had to do. At the end of the day, I think Penta looked a little lost.
Yeah, and I mean, coming into it, there's so many factors at play with the stage, coming over to play one of the top ranked teams. I mean, there's
jet lag.
Yeah, there's so much. There's so much at play that they had to overcome. So it'll be interesting to follow them along into tomorrow and see if they can turn it around. I mean, that group that they're in is. I mean, it's hard to really say their group's tough. Both groups are very tough.
Right.
Very top-loaded. The 4 teams that ended up winning today, I think the chances are very good that those 4 will move on to the next round. Yep. But it'll be interesting to see if Penta can get a win out of it, maybe take down the other team in their group, and at least come out of it with a little bit of experience and in a win.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, they can only go up, I guess, right? I mean,
exactly.
Especially after the Slayer game they went through, they got absolutely murdered.
Yeah, absolutely. And just to be at the X Games in general, I think is such a big deal. So it's great. It's great to see these European teams being able to be participating in this as well.
Yeah, and we got a good gauge of CLG going on forward here. So I'm interested to see what they can actually pull together. Obviously, they're a good team, so it'd be interesting to see.
So the third match of the night was your team, Renegades, facing Liquid. So there were some big storylines there as well, with Ninja getting dropped by Liquid, joining up with Leftovers, who changed to Renegades. Let's talk about that match a little bit. What happened there?
Yeah, Renegades played very well. It's like, I mean, I guess if I want to use a boxing analogy, because why not? And they punched Liquid in the face, and Liquid didn't know how to respond.
Yeah.
I get it. There's 3 games, and they have breaks in between games, and it's a video game, but they didn't have an answer. I think they tried to muster a rally and kind of get back into it, but Renegades was just they were quick. They went on them, and they didn't give them time to breathe. At all. That
was it. I mean, they were all over them. They put their foot on their neck and just didn't let up. I mean, the speed with which they capped the flags in that game of Capture the Flag, I mean, it was crazy. Like, they capped one, and before you knew it, they had the other flag halfway back to their base to cap it again. It was very impressive. Your boy Ninja had a very good match. Every game he played very well, carried some very strong stats, and it was just looked great. Looked great out there.
I liked their expressiveness. I think the announcers, the casters, gave a shout out to them how pumped they were when they won the first game. Up and yelling and getting into it and stuff. Yeah. And you could even see it when you watched them during the broadcast. Like, the other guys were still, and a couple other teams did too. But I mean, they were like into it, like telling each other, pointing, looking at this and that, and I thought they were awesome. I think they were fun to watch. That Slayer game was pretty crazy. The second game, because it was close, and Liquid almost came back.
Yeah,
and I thought they were going to come back, and I think they had
very close.
They had the game. I think Liquid kind of gave it away because I really think they had the map and weapon power going into like the last little bit, and they kind of played slow. It almost seemed like they played nervous, and Renegades didn't.
Once they got to Renegades got 46, I think they were stuck at 46 for a while. Hit 46, and the game slowed down so much. That was crazy. They kind of got to the point where it was like, all right, we have sniper, we have position, let's kind of wait. Renegades, they were up, so let's kind of wait, play it out, and it just got too slow, and time kind of got away, and Liquid didn't have a chance.
Right, and I understand you can't. I mean, I guess my point is if you're gonna look at death at the end of the game as counting that much more, and you should play slow like that, then you should do that the entire game because I mean, a death's a death, and it counts for a score. Yeah. I think that was it was a sweet stick that we saw during that game too. I forget who was it, special. I can't remember who it was.
Actually, I think it was. I don't remember off the top of my head.
I can't think of it for some reason. I'm blanking on it. But yeah, you stuck it off the wall. It was beautiful to watch.
No, that was the EG game.
Oh, was the EG game? You're right. Okay,
yeah,
that
was Conley.
Never mind.
That was Conley that had a sick stick. Yeah.
No, the one where he stuck himself.
Oh, stuck himself.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
You know, shout out for that.
That was brutal.
That was a sweet play.
Yeah, that was nice. Yeah, I remember that one. I think that was APG.
Well, it might have been. Either way, I was laughing. I was like, because everyone's done that in Halo.
I know.
And it's refreshing to see
pros do it.
Because, I mean, it was a mistake, but he was trying to do something quick and move another way, and it just bounced and stuck him, and you're like, oh, fuck.
Yeah.
So it was good to watch. But I liked all the games, and I was happy Renegades.
Renegades look strong. They look
business.
Yeah, they living up to the hype that everyone's giving them. I know they're coming in kind of as underdogs a little bit, but they look very good. They look very good. So speaking of Commonly and EG, last match of the night was EG, Evil Geniuses versus Dream Team. I didn't know a whole lot about Dream Team coming into this match. Definitely knew a ton about Evil Geniuses with the domination they had last year with Halo 2 Anniversary.
Yep.
The storylines with Lethal leaving, picking up this little-known player Commonly for their fourth, who's a little bit younger than the rest of them. He's 18 coming into this, kind of a big stage for him to step up, and they looked dominant. They looked strong, and Commonly even had some very good games. He had a few triple kills, and that stick that we were talking about on the rig off the wall, they looked like they're firing on all cylinders.
Yeah, it was, he did not back down. He did not look scared in any way, shape, or form. Post-game comments during the game, he did not look scared at all. He was up in it and ready to go.
Confidence right there, calling out CLG there.
Yeah, I loved watching that when he stuck him off the wall, because I saw him. He was like, "Oh, he's gonna miss with that grenade." But it was a sticky, so it stuck on the wall a little bit. And then you saw the hit marker go up. I was like, "Oh my god, he stuck him!"
Yeah, so did I. That was nuts. But, I saw him identify the guy up on that platform, and I was like, he's gone. Like, he's running. He chucked that sticky, kind of hit the wall, dropped straight down.
Yep.
And yeah, like you said, the hit marker, and I was like, there's no way he stuck him. He ran around the corner and he got the kill. I was like, holy shit, that was awesome.
It was great. And yeah, EG as a team, they looked to control the whole time. When things got going and someone was in a fight and they were either getting outshot or double teamed or getting hit from a couple of places, they were able to escape, and the other team chased a little bit. There was someone else there waiting for him every time. They looked very coordinated, very as coordinated is the answer. Like they looked like they've been playing together the whole time and commonly fit right in with it. It wasn't like he was out of place. If someone needed him to back up, he was where he was supposed to be. So I thought they looked great considering they haven't been together very long.
That's the big thing. I mean, they've been together a week, maybe less.
A week and maybe about a week, I think, right?
Yeah,
so
they probably had a few scrims together, some practices, and that's it. I mean, jumping into this level of play right away and looking as good as they did is very impressive. And it's just kind of like Lethal was just a replaceable part on the cog, like on the machine. They bring another guy in, and they just keep rolling. Hopefully they do. I mean, secretly I'm pulling for them because of everything that the storylines have been going through. Lunchbox, Royborg, Snipe Down. Yeah, I mean, they look great, and I really hope they can kind of stick it to CLG and take them, and we'll see what happens there.
Give it to them strong. I did want to mention, I was thinking about this as we were talking about Lethal and stuff, and as we were going through, because I watched a lot of League of Legends, the LCS and all the tournaments and stuff like that, and it's crazy to think that these guys can get into Halo, and that Halo is the type of game where you can get into a tournament like this, having even picked up someone or losing someone and then picking up someone else. Like, you don't see that in the LCS. Like, these guys get together, and it's news if they've only been playing together for 2 months. Like, they've only been together 2 months. There's no way they're going to win this game.
Yeah.
So like it's crazy when you think about Halo being a game where shooting and stuff like that can kind of, and your positioning can be good enough where you can play in an event like this but not have to do scrims together for months in advance. And it's interesting, and I also wonder if it's going to come back to haunt CLG and EG, and that you see maybe someone like Allegiance or Renegades come through with it just because they've been playing together longer.
I think it could come down to those moments where it's a very tight game.
Right.
I think very big stage. So if it's like final match, like I think you can work through those things and hide those blemishes, maybe where it's a little lacking chemistry or whatever it may be leading up to a final. But maybe you come down to it and it's what would it be? Allegiance, and I can't think of who's in the other. I can't think of what the two groups are. But say it's Evil Geniuses versus Allegiance. I mean, that's going to be two top of the line teams who have everything really dialed in, and Allegiance, one of the teams that have been together for however long it may be, getting qualifiers all together, playing together this whole time, and they know how each other works. There might be a slip up here or there, and that could cost EG. That could be the one kill, 49-49, the one kill where the chemistry drops and they lose that one kill. I mean, it'll be interesting to see if it does come back like that.
Yeah, the attention to detail in these matches in any any esports or any sports in general or competitions that get to this high level is just crazy. I mean, every little thing is nuts. Like you tell by watching them. It's impressive when you notice like just how little things can add up, and like when you notice someone do something that's like a good play or something like that, it's like not that great of a play, but it's just enough of a little bit of a detail to get them ahead. It's
all it
fun.
is. That's what it is. It's that little detail. I mean, I found myself watching tonight, and I was like, this doesn't look too hard. Like, I could play with these guys. And then every time we try and enter just like an online tournament, it's like, nope, just getting trashed on. And like, you just can put it into perspective. Like, these guys, I mean, just the level of detail. They don't miss a shot. Exactly. They have positioning. It's just, it's on a different level.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, like I said, I think we can shoot with them in most cases or make some of those plays. I mean, I personally think I can snipe just about as well as most of them can. But, it's like the positioning's near perfect. And when it's not, it's gaping. And you can tell. Yeah. Like, it's awesome to watch.
Yeah.
I was super excited watching it. I enjoyed it a lot. I enjoyed, the experience and everything tonight.
Yeah, so this is only going to keep getting better for Halo. This was such a good first step. I'm so glad that it went as well as it did and as smooth as it did, from everything from the gameplay to the matches to the streaming. There was no hiccups. Everything worked out as good as it could have, and hopefully this just kind of foreshadows what's to come for Halo, and it just keeps getting better, because this was very enjoyable.
It's
and
cool.
Very looking forward to see what's up next. So thanks for watching, guys. Hopefully you were able to catch the matches, and we'll tune in tomorrow and try and get a recap out for you tomorrow as well if you missed the matches. And looking forward to see how the Halo at X Games continues.
Should be fun, and there's lots of storylines to look for going up into the last of the group stage and everything. It should be a lot of entertainment, which is what we're looking for.
Yep, absolutely. 4 sweeps today. We'll see what happens tomorrow.
All right.
See you guys later.
Bye.